So this is what if Naruto was a reincarnation of me. Now this is actually, oddly enough, a fan-made request. Now, so we're gonna say I die as a human, me, the day yesterday, basically. And if y'all don't know, I'm sorry I can't post yesterday because there was a bad lightning storm outside and Wi-Fi was literally shit. I could not make a video or do anything, so I'm sorry, guys. I was barely able to get a post out. By the way, I'll do that tomorrow or maybe even after this video when I make it. So yeah, for that what if y'all requested. So yeah, now there is one problem I'm going to find in this. If he's a reincarnation of me, does he have all my intelligence? Now, if y'all don't know, I've actually watched Naruto twice, full through, all the way into Boruto. And I have to say, Boruto is a fucking asshole. But that's not about today. Now, I've never given my characters when they're human, like Issei, even in Black Air Force, Issei, what if Issei had Black Air Force? I made it where he got broken ribs and cut and beaten the crap out of him. Now, I've never set goals for my characters that I alone have not been able to handle in the past. If you're saying, wait, does that mean you've had your ribs broken and shit? Yes, it does. Oddly enough, from being jumped. And most of the time I give the characters that are jumping someone the weapons that were given to people that beat me up. So yeah, this is no disrespect to nobody, but yeah. So yeah. But in this version, we're going off I died yesterday in a lightning storm. Lightning bolt strikes, I'm dead on the ground. My mind and my weapons all teleport with me to the Naruto realm. As I revive there, I notice something. I'm Naruto as a baby. Now, being that Naruto never got any treatment that was good as a baby, I'll be basically his, sorry about that, guys, his knowledge. I already know everything about Naruto, though I forget most of it because, it's boring as hell and 99% filler, but let's go. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I completely forgot Shippuden when I was making this. I'm sorry, guys, but whatever. And I'm sorry about any pop-ups that happen. It happens. Anyway, we've got the build. Now, I know a lot of things about Naruto that I probably wouldn't or shouldn't know at all. One of those things is that Naruto could actually feasibly, in Baryon mode, probably run the ones with Goku. And if you're saying bull crap and you're typing that in the comments, hear me out. The way Goku fights, even if he outclasses someone by a dimension, say even if Hercule challenged him to a fight, Goku would still fight him. Granted, Hercule would instantly get his ass beat, but Goku was to hold back to the point where he could actually fight Hercule. And he wouldn't even act like it was a big deal. He would just do it for the fun of it. What do you think he did when he was going Super Saiyan Blue against Krillin? Note, Krillin. Yeah. Anyway, back to what if. So, yeah. I wake up and my weapons are with me. And that includes a rock hammer, a shop hammer, and this is an East Wing rock hammer, a shop hammer, sledgehammer, little green pocket knife, an East Wing camping axe, a large woodsman axe, and a red switchblade. And if you're wondering, guys, yes, I actually have possession of all these. But I was thinking about giving Naruto all my other weapons. And just for this what if, we're going to say I do. That would include 4 katanas. That's right, y'all heard me correctly. 4 katanas. A bike, a Ghost Rider chain kind of thing. Something I have. A very, very, very large scythe. Which, yes, I actually struggled to pick up. Gut sword from Berserk. And if you're asking, yes, that thing is heavy as it looks. And I'm not even joking with y'all, that thing is impossible to pick up. A realistic Thor's hammer. And if you're wondering, no, it's not one of them cheap ones that is easy to pick up and smack things and it'll break. No, it's an actual full heavy weapon. And if you're wondering, yes, people who made them on the, I don't even know what it was called, Toonsmith or something, whatever. The people who made the lightsaber, they also made Thor's hammer. They made one that was in the 90 pounds. Well, I've got one basically that heavy. And if you're wondering, yes, I basically just bought one that was proclaimed to be that heavy and weighed it. It was 95 pounds. And I am not kidding when I say trying to pick that son of a bitch up is impossible unless you have both hands. And I literally do workouts every morning the way like Rock Lee determination type stuff. And I also have two other like regular axes, which are which is a one-handed tomahawk and a small axe. I do not know the name of it. But anyway, let's get to what if. So yeah, Naruto entirely will revive with my weapons and my knowledge and abilities. And even though I don't seem it, I'm actually not dumb. So yeah, he will have basic knowledge of martial arts, mainly just boxing, karate, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. And if you're calling me out on bullshit for any of the martial arts I know, I legally cannot use them on any human I fight, unless they are alone that powerful as well. And if you're calling bullshit, I actually can get arrested if I hurt someone using those. And that's not even a lie. So yeah. This will include him with my mindset as well, so yeah. I'm gonna wake up as a baby. You know, in the Naruto world, I'm just born and all that. But I still have all my intelligence, abilities, and knowledge. And the second, because most people learn how to walk around 1 year old. And if you're calling me bullshit on that one, my niece knows how to walk and she's 1 year old, so fuck you. Yeah. So that's where I'm getting my information on that one from. So, I basically, at 1 year old, can barely walk, but I know my workouts. So the push-ups and stuff, I teach myself those. Squats, sit-ups, everything. And note, unlike Naruto, who puts a lot of money into the ramen guy, I wouldn't put as much, but I'm a sucker for good ramen too, so if it's as good as everyone claims it to be, I'd probably spend most of my money there too. No cap. But I also check for expiration labels on milk, so yeah, that wouldn't happen. So we're gonna get into those things. So the whole growing up of Naruto until he reaches that 12 years old when the story starts is nothing but him getting bullied, hit, picked on, everything by everyone. Not in this version. And we even go to the point, which main points are like, oh, whenever they met that one kid and Naruto was pissed about that, I'd be just as pissed, probably more so. And say, royally, fuck all of you, and walk away. And that one kid, what was the kid's name? Never mind. Whenever he went to save Hinata, I'm going to include that one. Now, unlike Naruto in this version, I know how to fight. And these are academy students to a ninja world. And my character for Naruto, which I'm just going to say me, I would just start beating the crap out of them. Because in this world, you don't get in trouble if you beat the crap out of people. I mean, look what happened with Itachi. He was literally ordered to kill everybody. And those kids were picking on Hinata for no reason, so yeah. My assist, which basically, instead of being any jutsu or nothing, honestly, I'd probably just run up to the first one and just kick him in the back of the head. Second one, I'm probably just throwing something at. And the third one, I don't even know how to deal with, but probably just beating the crap out of him. Now, then we got the whole thing where we have to fight with some other characters. Now, if you're wondering what other characters I'm talking about the big beastie ones. We're going to that whole point whenever that one character, I forgot his name, sorry. I just watched a video about him too and I forgot his name. So that's messed up, but yeah, I forgot the character's name. But he still tries convincing Naruto to go get the scroll, which is me. He convinced me to get the scroll, and I already know how Naruto got his jutsu and everything, so I'm like, perfect. This time I'm getting that jutsu. And in this version, unlike Naruto, I look through it. And I'm like, I can read this, and I do the Shadow Clone Jutsu. And if you're wondering if I've seen the show that much, how can I not just memorize it? It's simple, really. I forget hand signs way too much for that one. But I remember them enough. So yeah. Hold on a second, guys. Alright, guys, I'm back. Now, I personally know about, like, Zabuza's fighting style and the Executioner's Blade, which I've actually bought one. Also, that Executioner's Blade is not a joke. Mine hasn't really came in yet, but I know how big it is. And those things at full size is going to be a pain to move, but I can do it, whatever. So this version of Naruto, he's thinking, he's got his big weapons in his room, and the third Hokage really never cared to just go messing with Naruto's weapons. He knows these are just really cool looking things, but they're not just collectible, they're actual weapons to fight with. And he knows this, and he sees how razor sharp even the big, hefty one that looks even like it'd be a pain to hold. Which reminds him a little bit of the 7 Ninja Swordsman from the Mist, but he was like, okay, well, I don't think, but the Executioner is this big, I don't think, but whatever. Now, in this version, we're going back to the whole thing when the Academy is like, okay, you have to get that jutsu, and Iruka, I save Iruka the same way Naruto would, although whenever I do the Shadow Clone Jutsu, every one of my Shadow Clones are beating the fuck out of him as hard as possible. Because they're going to use my personality, which is beat the fuck out of him. And being that he's a trained ninja, he shouldn't put up so little of a fight. So yeah, on him for that one. But we also have to mention that Naruto himself has weapons as well. He's got kunai and other things as well, just like that. So yeah, like I'm saying, Naruto has kunai and other things like that. No reason why not. Now, I don't really care to use kunai, though I have my own. I really do not use them very often. The best I can do is just razor blade point them, and they're all sharp, but I really do not know how to throw them that well. And if you're thinking, well, it's not an easy thing to learn, so many weapons, right? I can barely even wield half the weapons I have. But I'm a novice level in those, so whatever. Now we have to go over to the point when Team 7 gets announced. I don't think it'd be that odd to carry a weapon to school in this ninja world. Because, I mean, they already carry kunais and shit like that on their sides, on their legs and all that, so I don't think it'd be that surprising if a kid came up with 4 katanas. All 3 of Zabuza's original ones, and that big one that he has now, the purple one. And the big one on my back, which is my big 5th sword, which is Gus from Berserk. I will not take any of my tomahawks with me, since none of them are really made for fighting. I will take my tiny green knife, though. Thing's razor-edged, which I actually have right now. Whatever, anyway. We've got Naruto basically doing his crazy shite. Now, I'm a very big fan, and I know what's going to happen. So, the first thing that's going down, whenever we're first fighting, like, Zabuza, I'm not trusting Haku, but I know how the story has to go, so I'm letting it happen. I'm letting them get away. Now, honestly, I'd rather let them live, honestly. So in this version, whenever, like, we're sent there, to, like, whenever, like, I wake up, I'm gonna wake up early as shite for this version, and I still know the whole reason what have to happen and everything, so I sleep in. On purpose. Like, I literally lay down until they leave, and a little bit later, I'll wake up. Now, they couldn't tell that I was awake, because I actually probably would doze off a little bit myself. Now, every day, this version of Naruto works out, and he's probably strong enough in base to be able to take on his version of Nine-Tailed Chakra in canon. And if you're wondering what I mean, no, not like full Nine-Tailed Chakra mode, no. He's just able to take on, like, the version that attacked Haku. Physically, easily, not even a problem. And with the big weapons I have, something different gonna happen. Now, in this version, we still have to deal with the whole problems of the whole thing, and this version, Sasuke still gets pinned with needles. And I don't really care about Sasuke that much, but I will still treat him like a team member and a friend that I would have. So I would still go into the KCM power, which, because I meditate myself a lot, I think Naruto would too. And this version of me would be just as ballsy as I am. So I'd probably talk shit right to the Nine Tails the same way someone needs to do it. Now, this meant that there is a whole different situation. while I would talk shite to the Ninetales, I would literally say, yo, if you're taking my body, then you are going to give me some of your power in return. And the Ninetale would be like, no, kid, I'm not doing none of that, yada, yada, yada. Honestly, I'd probably be like, nah, you is, but only when I need it, like, really badly, or when I ask you for it, it's when you need to give it to me, okay? Why would I ever give you my power, kid? Honestly, you really wouldn't need to. But you do realize if you don't give me your power, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you, right? What do you mean? You in there? I'm in here. You can't do nothing to me. Wrong. Doing the same thing Naruto does to torture him. I do that and be like, fuck you. And this is actually when, in this version, Naruto will meet his mother in one of the mental sparring things. And he meets his father and mother. Noting that and I know that they're the 4th Hokage and all that, so that's not really a big deal to me. Now, this will change a few things. So, me as this version of Naruto doesn't know any flicker ability, but I do know how to beat some ass. Now, in this version, Haku and Zabuza do not die by my choice. Now, I know what they're going to happen in canon. Haku's going to escape and go right in front of the way for Kakashi's attack. Now, in this version, I'm going to zoom by with my speed of the ability I have, which is Flying Raijin. If you're saying bullshit, I wouldn't have a Flying Raijin, that's one of the few abilities I know. And I'm going to say that Naruto's father, in this version, whenever he was doing that, I would ask, hey, could you teach me the Flying Raijin technique? And I don't think there'd be a real reason why not. And in this version, that's actually the reason why not is there wouldn't be any reason why not, because I'm going to say it wouldn't be a big deal. Now, this made it where I learned the Flying Raijin. Or you could even say I learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu and the Flying Raijin at the same time. But I do have a few kunais for that one. So the Flying Raijin, not really a big deal. Sorry about that, guys. I got off my screen. Anyway, Flying Raijin goes way different than in canon. So, in this version, I will flicker right next to them, which makes me literally 2 inches from them before Kakashi's about to hit him with that lightning, and I basically just go push. And they both are barely moved out the way. And this is when I, instead of Naruto, will be giving a passionate speech, saying, hey, we don't have to do this. I know you were hired by someone, but please, we don't need to do this, man. And this is when the other guy said, I was kind of hoping you'd kill each other first so I could just win that way. Zabuza still having no arms and, you know, Haku being the shit beaten out of it. But me, who's still basically completely in control, with no injuries. Looking like this, just waiting for it. And he said, what a waste. Anyway, you're basically all beaten down to bloody crap, so instead of having to pay you, Zabuza, for killing them, or any of that you could do, what I'm gonna do is all these people behind me are gonna kill you. All of you. Zabuza and Kakashi and Zabuza being a little bit beaten up, but luckily for them, there is still a Haku alive. And I say, hey, Haku being beaten up a little bit, really badly, but not to death, being like, what? Alright, you know what, I'm gonna tell you this. That guy over there, pointing to Sasuke, bring him over there with the bridge builder and all that, all y'all over there, now. Alright. As Haku basically just got his life saved by me. Basically, as I go over to grab Sasuke and pull him all the way over there, putting him right next to Kakashi and setting Zabuza down too, saying, Zabuza, sit down. And Zabuza would most likely be like, why? Your arms are messed up, you can't win this fight. True. So I want you to join my team, protecting. Alright. Kakashi, keep an eye on him. No Chidoris are allowed, alright? Fine. How do you even know the name of that technique? None of your business. Now, as I point over to this, saying, Sakura. And she says, what is it? You, protect Naruto, protect Sasuke and Haku. Protect them to the best of your ability. As I basically pull out a katana. And I'm thinking about doing the 3-sword style, but I decided not to. Putting one of my 4 katanas to the side, throwing them all backwards, saying, here. Cracking my neck, picking up the big sword. And it is an actual real life version of the gut sword, so yeah, that's the whole point. And I take on all of them as best my ability, taking a few injuries in the process. But I go with a little bit of one-tailed chakra, which puts me where I'm actually at a level to keep up with the one-tailed beast itself. So I think that's how it works. So that's what we're going with. Being at full 1 cloak, I'm equivalent to around Gaara at that point, or even above that. This makes it where the second I'm dealing with them, I just obliterate them full no force. And I'm just basically teleporting around Flying Raijin and beating the crap out of them with a giant sword. And when all of them are on the ground laying, I say, these are nice katanas. Putting them all back in their sheaths and grabbing them on, putting them in a big old thing, and asking Kakashi if he can put them in like a weapon scroll. By chance, I'm going to say Kakashi would have 1 weapon scroll that was empty, saying, sure. And that's basically where all these thugs' weapons are going to be put into. And I'm going to say in this version, I'm going to talk to the Hokage once we get back. Now, I basically we all recover at the bridge builder's house and all that. We heal and all that. That just goes as canon. Now, we're able to walk around, do our things. Once we get back there, the demon boys are not there. We're not going to bring them along, but we do have, the executioner, Zabuza himself, and what the fuck was the name again? It was High something, it was, whatever, that other kid. Haku. So yeah, Haku's there too. As we're walking back, to the village, I actually ask something to Haku and Zabuza. Say, hey, I got a question for you, both of you. Y'all are willing to join our team and stay with us, right? Yeah, but we still have to atone for what we've done. Dude, you're joining us. You're in an alliance with us. We got you. We'll keep you protected and everything if we need to. And I said, Sasuke, you need to learn how to keep up with Sai on your own, into 1-to-1. Go running the ones with this person, even. Sai, you need to be able to keep up with Kakashi and with Zabuza. Easy. Got it? Yeah. Sakura, you just need to be able to keep up with me and Sasuke right now, at our current levels, because that's all you'll probably ever be able to keep up with. What was that, Naruto? As she goes to basically do a slap to me, as I just basically shadow flicker out the way and just say, with a katana to her neck, saying, I could have killed you in an instant. Got it? As she's got her head picked up with the sword there, saying, alright, that's all. As I just speed back to where I was, grabbing my weapon, my little shadow flicker weapon, and just putting it back into its pocket. Cracking my neck, saying, that is such a fun jutsu to use. And saying, alright, now, we get back to the village, I'm going to talk to the 3rd Hokage. And with them all with me, and some people recognize, like, Zabuza of the Mist, and I don't think they would recognize Haku. Now, we get to 3rd Hokage's office, and there's like three very dangerous people there. Guy Sensei is there to protect the Hokage if needed. That one chick with the red eyes who helped to take on Itachi, and I'm going to say Iruka Sensei. These 3 are there ready to protect the Hokage if need be. Now Naruto, me and that entire group walk in saying, hey, is it okay if they join the Leaf Village? What do you mean? He's a murderer. To be fair, he was raised to murder people. What do you mean? Tell me your backstory. As Abu says, I was raised where we have to kill everyone in our class, become the next one to be joining that. I'm one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, as you know, of the Mist Village, which I'm willing to devote my sword to the Leaf Village. Because of Naruto right here. If you'll let me, I would like to join y'all. Even if I have to start at basically the lowest rank. Hearing this, they're like, okay. And then they say, Kakashi, is this true? Yeah, he's really changed a little bit. He wants to actually protect instead of kill. Sorry about that, guys. But I'll make you a deal. Third Hokage would be like, alright, I'll make you a deal. You have to protect. And saying, and who's this with him? This is Haku, the boy that he's raised after his parents' death. Hearing this, they're like, wow, so you've really raised a child? Yeah, how powerful is this child? And then I would probably say, hey, around my ability on its own. And he's also got this weird power where he's like he has a bunch of mirrors. Hearing this, they're like, sure, y'all can join. On one condition. You now join Team 7, both of you. Deal. No. Feeling that Team 7 is now biggest team. I mean, they've got 2 senseis and 4 students. But hearing this, they're also going to have to do a lot more work. Now, this will change up just a little bit over time. Now, I'm not sure when Sai joins. In this version, Sai's going to join right after this mission. They have Sai join. Sai has to join them. And I don't think Sai was in that group. So I'm going to say Sai was trained, was kind of another class, but wound up having to join this because of, I don't know, reasons. We're just going with the number reasons. And Sai is basically mainly put there to keep an eye on Naruto and them. Basically, yeah. Because Naruto, if he's really helping 2, like, wanted criminals, they have to keep an eye on him. And the other 2 are just because they're wanted criminals. And they need all the protection they can get. And if this kid is really as strong as Naruto, which is someone who can easily run the ones with some of the best senseis that are around, maybe not my guy, but he can easily outdo Iruka. He can keep up with Kakashi, base form. Now, there's a reason I didn't include the bell arc, because I didn't really feel that as needed. Them going for the bells wasn't really much important to me. But I'll tell y'all that now. So what happened with the bell thing was literally whenever we all just woke up, and I'm someone who really wouldn't care what Kakashi said, so I know what's gonna happen, so I wound up eating 2 big old things of ramen on my way there. And I'm actually early. It's a little bit past lunchtime. And I'm just like, you know what? F all that. Pulling out, rations I have. But then saying, you know what? Nah. Because I know this is when Kakashi's going to pull up. He's like, why'd you bring food? Well, I mean, after this test, I'm going to be pretty hungry. Fair point. Now, this is when an unexpected moment would happen. A rare one, but still a moment that would need to happen. They all run away, and I'm just like, nah, I'm not doing that. Saying, look, Kakashi, I don't know how to break it to you this way, but I have to. I'm still going to come up to you face to face no matter what. Besides, this is more of a sign of respect. I know you know what they say, never turn your back on an opponent. Saying, true. Well, let's see what happens. Shadow clone, I'm just going to make the biggest number of shadow clones, like the whole 1,000 shadow clone thing. And this is all surrounding Kakashi, like, it's a lot of shadow clones. I'm impressed. And then I'm going to basically be like, do. Boom. Every one of them will have a weapon in hand. And I'm going to have my big sword. First thing to do is sling down at Kakashi. Kakashi knows which one is the real one, and I can dang sure tell. As I'm just basically swinging them all, as Kakashi vanishes. And this is him basically warping out of there with a speed blitz or something. I don't really care, I don't really know. But then he's gone, and I know just dispel all the shadow clones. This is when Kakashi pops out the ground, as I would hop up, and instead of being pulled in the ground, the way Sasuke, or anyone was, or even launched he was still trying to get me in the river. And when he does those, like, 1,000 years of death, I actually reverse that on him. Whenever he goes to do that, I say, I know what you're about to do. And then he goes to do it, and he basically says, "Ah, what the hell? What the fuck was that?" And I say, "Haha, dumbass. Do you think I'm ever gonna go and leave my body unprotected? That's an iron sheet you just hit." And Kakashi says, as he pops his knuckles, "That hurt. Yeah. 1,000 shadow clones." What the crap? As they all kind of just hold him steady. And I just go, "Leaf Village, hidden technique, 1,000 years of death." As I hit Kakashi with his own attack, he's like, "Ah, you son of a bitch. Whoa, that hurt. How dare you? That's why you don't mess with Naruto Uzumaki. You should know that. You know who my parents are, man." "Wait, what? You know who your parents are?" "Yes." Wow. Yeah. Now, I'm going to say I was able to grab one bell. That's it. But being that there was no teamwork or anything, they still kind of put us in there. Same way. No big deal. Now, they still actually kind of offer me food, thinking I haven't eaten, as they can still hear my stomach growling. And I actually accept, but whenever they don't try to untie me from the ropes, I'm basically like, I basically just have this one little thing in my pocket. Basically, my weapons were all confiscated, including one flying Raijin, which is basically just stabbed into a log, and I'm like, flying Raijin. Basically thundering around there, being like, alright. As I go to grab my kunai and put it in my pocket. And I basically just walk home and all that. Now back to flashing to when we're going to have to do the whole thing. With being that this is going to be an easy test, and I know how Naruto did this test and just don't answer anything, I basically accept it. And instead of answering anything, I'm actually kind of flirting with Hinata a little bit. And Hinata gets a little bit blushy about this, but she accepts. And I'm thinking, this is going to be easy. Now, a few days pass, and normal things. We have to get to the whole thing with them going into the forest. Now, I feel like some people forget that forest was a lot more bullshit than ever, so it's going to be a hard fight. Now, this is a Naruto that has been training every single day, and actually has Haku and Zabuza living around him. I'm going to say, no, I would be asleep, like, "Hey, yo, could you give them, like, the apartment next to mine?" "Sure." As they get that apartment, and booyah, booyah, kaba. I give them, every day, we wake up early as crap. For, like, 2 weeks before this whole thing happens, I wake up, everyone basically go over to the Haruno house, Sasuke's family, be like, bing, 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 bing. And they're like, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, what do you want? Alright, so Yodara needs to come out and train with us. Man, why would she do that? So she could actually be useful on the team? Alright, fine. Sakura, wake up. Sakura waking up, being like, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, what is it, Naruto? Whoa. Seeing Sasuke already got up. Because before this, I went to Sasuke's place, and it was like, bang, 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 bang. So I was like, what? You're gonna wake the dead? And be like, man, I ain't gonna wake your entire clan now, come on. Oh, fuck you, Naruto. That's a sore subject. I'm like, whatever, come on. We're gonna do some training so we can get strong enough to where you won't have to worry about being a little bitch boy. Oh, fuck you, Naruto. You wish. Later. Go over to the training ground where we first fought Kakashi. Alright. I'll be there in about 5 minutes. Like, no. You know what? Come here. Yo, ass come with me. Haku being next to me as well. And Zabuza being... I say, Zabuza, get to the training ground. Alright. After I'd already showed him there. So, Zabuza's basically, boom. I'm like, alright. Now, there's one more to get. And being that we already got Sai just barely the day before, assigned to our team, I would have already found where he lives and everything. I'm like, yo, Sai! Wake the fuck up! And Sai's like, dude, it's 4:05. What do you want, man? Oh, we're doing some training. Get your ass up. Man, if you don't join us, Sakura's gonna become better than you. And basically, this makes Sai go, I'm like, no, that will never happen. Sakura's like, hey, fuck you, Naruto. You wish. Aw, you asshole. Yeah, whatever. Come on. As Sai's kind of getting up, kind of droggy and everything, I'm like, yeah, wake the fuck up. And basically, before we get there, I don't think Ichiraki Ramen will be open this early for reasons. So I'm gonna say, alright, let's go get some food. What? Yeah, we got an all-night places and everything. I'm saying this town. I'm gonna say they got some places that are open that late, so whatever. And they were, or that open that early. So basically, they go to the ninja equivalent of 7-Eleven or whatever, or just Stripes, basically. Go grab some food, real quick. Everyone meets there. And I'm gonna say right after this, he's like, alright, let's go grab Kakashi as well. I like kind of appear his house and go, boom, boom, boom. Kakashi being like, what do you want? Your knocking is gonna literally wake the dead. Naruto. I'm like, hey, we're training. Come on, get up. Why would I train at this point? You're literally so much stronger than you know. Come on. Fine. Let's go. And I'm like, you ain't going to just take forever this time. We're doing some full training. As Kakashi got up, I'm like, fine. And I say, like, hey, let's get to the... Now, the first step of training is, as Zabuza stands behind me, as peers, saying, like, what's up? And I know I said I told him to get to there. I'm just going to say that was kind of like a cover thing to get everything ready. And then he meets me at Kakashi's place at 4:10. At 4:10, we're all like, alright, now the first step. What's up? The first step is we all have to get there. 20 minutes starts now. Whoever isn't there has to do double the workouts. Bye. And I basically just go, by the way, I probably should mention this, I left Kunai there. Flying Raijin. And they're like, did he just really do that to us? I'm going back to bed, Kakashi says, and I'm like, I knew you would do that. What the fuck? Yeah, did I mention I Flying Raijin everywhere I want? Yeah, that was basically just a test what y'all would do. Now come on, everyone, let's go. As we all basically start running there, and we basically bolt to the forest. Phew. And then we land. We get there with 1 minute to spare. And the slowest one actually being, not even surprising though, Sakura, who gets there 2 seconds before the 20 minutes is up. Now, Kakashi actually said, alright, I had to rush over here, so fuck you, Naruto, for one. But let's get to training. And the first step is actually surprising. We run basically a marathon. We get there, and I say, first step, we're going to have a sparring match. Alright, so who's it going to be? 1-1, 1-1, 1-1? You see, you would think that, wouldn't you? No. Alright, then what's it gonna be? As a big old smirk would pop up on my face. We're going to, instead of having 1-1s, we're going to have a 2 versus 4. A what? Ah. My mistake. Y'all probably didn't hear me that. Actually, I'm saying my mistake in numbers. So we've got me, Sai, Sasuke, and Haku. That's 4. What about what's she gonna do? Pointing over to Sakura, I'm like, well, she's gonna be on our side, but let's be honest, she's probably not gonna do that much. As I was saying, true. Sakura being like, hey. And then I say, Sakura, if you want to actually be helpful, be as strong as one of them. As I say, alright, we're going to do, which is basically a 5-on-2. Alright? Alright, Haku. I want our first thing to be, we're trying to take on and defeat both of them. There's no bells, nothing. It's straight up a fight. Until one group is fully defeated. Now, you might be thinking, this makes no sense to do. But I say, why not? So for a week straight, we basically do this. And the outcome usually winding up with me being the only one standing left after everyone has been taken down. And Sakura basically being like, acting the most hurt for no reason. Alright, so back to the what if. Now, we do have to deal with the fights that's gonna have to go down. Now, at this point, over these 2 weeks, Sai has noted to the third Hokage just how much of a broken as powerful they've all become. Like, Sai himself has gotten like 10 times stronger just joining their team. And the entirety of and everyone on that team has gotten so much more powerful since they did this training. Even Naruto. And Naruto's known for training every day. And some days they even doing their running after all the fighting and training and everything. They have to run and do that whole thing. Seeing Guy and Lee. And people will walk out their house in the morning early as crap to 6 a.m. just seeing us running, doing this all while weighted down with vest and shite heavier than Lee's leg weights. Now we would each have leg weights as heavy as Lee's. Even Sai, who struggles to barely walk in them things, much less train, which he will have to train. And I actually have arm weights on as well, which are kind of like Goku's wristbands. Now, this includes having the heavy leg weights, the arm weights, and we do not wear any vests. Kakashi wears his vest, but that's not weighted or anything. So yeah, we're just doing that. As everyone in the team is seen running next to each other, and Sakura is seen huffing and puffing trying to keep up, even though she's the only one that isn't weighted down as much. No, I'm not gonna lie, we did have weights on her, but like, it's like a quarter of the weight that was in Lee's leg weight. One of Lee's leg weights. So yeah. We're doing the running, and we actually run seeing Guy Sensei. I'm like, what's good, Guy Sensei? And Lee, these two are doing their training thing. No, it's like your entire squad is training with you, Kakashi? Wow. And you, Zabuza, good job keeping up with everything, too. You're learning a lot while you're here, right? Yeah, I've learned that this kid, pointing Naruto, is the most brutal trainer ever. I thought I was a bad trainer. He's putting me on my ass. Fair point, fair point. Well, remember, use the springtime of youth. And he's like, springtime of youth? Unless it's a fountain of youth, I'm done, man. Alright, well, just keep training. Ha 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 ha. I'm like, hey, yo, Lee, Guy, y'all want to train with us one day? What do you mean? Well, what we do is basically all the kids, try taking on the adults. We've actually won all but one match. Alright, so you wanted to make it more difficult by adding me in there, too. Yes, and Lee would help y'all. Yep. Could y'all keep up with Lee? Easily. Are you sure about that? Before you say anything, you know I have the Nine Tails. That's obvious. And you know I'm powerful enough to run the ones with everybody here. True. And I can go up to 3, and I can go up to 4 tails, which makes me strong enough to keep up with you. Not in your full power mode, but yeah. How'd you know about that? Well, simple. I can tell that you're holding back. Alright. Sasuke here, being the last Uchiha, actually has the most dangerous eyes around. And you know Kakashi is basically your rival, so I know that. And Zabuza basically can keep up with Kakashi on an even level, as a rival. So yeah, there's that. Alright, alright. Sai, his drawings are basically the most dangerous thing to deal with chakra. Alright? And Sakura here, she's kind of useless, but Sai and Haku has some broken weapon with mirrors and crap. Alright, well, I'll see about joining you then. And on the last day, he actually decides to join. And he actually gets there a little bit after our training starts, saying, I expect to be the only one here yet. Y'all got here pretty early. Oh no, we've been here for about 2 hours. It is 6 a.m. I know. We've been here for 2 hours, training. Even Sakura at this point said, yeah, we have. And Lee instantly falls in love with Sakura. The same way as Canon. And I'm like, Lee, you could do so much better, my guy. Why? Why would you do this to yourself? And he said, shut up, Naruto. I would just be like, no, I'm not going to. Anyway, training. And we actually the adults actually win this match because Guy actually is basically the evening out of the playing field. It takes Guy standing in front of me. Basically, Guy's the one stopping me and Lee, dead in our tracks. Kakashi taking on Sakura and, you know, Sasuke pretty easily. And then we've got Haku and Sai fighting against Zabuza. And Zabuza's struggling with this one because none of us are weak. Now, Kakashi's having the easiest being that he's fighting Sakura, so yeah, that's pretty easy to do. Sai's wielding a sword, stopping Zabuza's, and I basically throw Haku my sword. And if you're saying, are you sure Haku could wield that sword? No, but I'm going to say after all the training, Haku can at least pick it up and use it to block Zabuza's. And this actually impresses Zabuza, saying, you can finally wield a big sword. Here. As basically we go to a blacksmith that day and get Haku his own kind of replicant of that sword. Of whichever sword he wishes, which I'm going to say in this version was just like Zabuza's. And I'm like, we should do some swordsman training and everything like that. Deciding whether they should or shouldn't, they're like, sure. They don't see anything wrong with it, and he says, yo, Lee, what's up? You need to learn some swordsmanship, too. Why would I learn swordsmanship? Well, don't you want to get strong? I mean, I do, but I don't see how learning swordsmanship would do anything with that. Simple. Try picking up this. As I throw him my sword, he's like, it's quite heavy for a normal sword. Can I get some help here? As his knuckles are basically digging into the ground, he's like, as Guy said, sure, I'll help you. As he even struggles to help Lee pick up the sword, saying, it's quite heavy, as even his knuckles get dragged into the ground. Alright, back to the video, guys. Now, we do have to deal with the whole elephant in the room. What would this mean for the training? Now, in this version, we already know who Rock Lee is. And Gaara wouldn't be the only one to know the truth. And I would walk up to everyone and be like, we're on the wrong floor, right? This is a basic jutsu. As I basically shatter it to him and be like, oh, if you could, it took him to get that. If he had left y'all here, y'all wouldn't even deserve it. I said, come on guys, let's go one more floor. Alright, fine. As they all walk away to the next floor. So we can actually get to the trials and tribulations we gotta fight. Now, this would be including, and not limited to, the entirety of the bullcrap we have to do with training. Now, I'm gonna say the training went successfully. And Lee and Guy, we all talk, and we're like, good training session earlier today and everything. But we all gotta get healed and everything after this, so we're good. Now, the first thing being the written, done, like I said. But whenever we get into the forest, our 5 group members, we're told we have to get the same thing as everyone else, but different in this version. Whenever that one dude attacked, through that kunai, and kind of attacked, the first thing that happened is actually I speed blitz him with mine. He didn't expect it to happen, and I basically put my foot on the back of his head and start juggling it and saying, hey bud, F you. And I punch him in the back of the head. He's like, ow, fuck. He's actually about to go into his Orochimaru form, just to realize, wait, if I do that right now, I'm basically ruined. I can't do that in front of a teacher. Because actually all the senseis are there watching their kids go into the forest. Including Zabuza. And all of them. And I actually kind of hit something off. Hey, you know that Orochimaru guy? Yeah? I think he's here in the village. Why would he be here in the village? Hear me out. Alright, tell me. We have to put it in mind, real quick. Really quick. Look around. You may look around and you may find dead bodies. And I think the Hidden Sound Ninjas are here, and they're actually them. Alright. And with this actual being told, they're more ready to jump into the forest when something's wrong. And my team basically gets the whole scroll. Basically, we go through the same trials and tribulations because, remember, this is one of the 3 Sanin. Being so much stronger that we can keep up with, being this as strong as we are, we're still not strong enough to keep up with one of the 3 Sanin. Now, I'm not gonna say it'd be a hard fight because, you know, Sasuke still got that mark on his neck and got the weird demon mark. But in this version, no one at this point with 1 mark, he basically broke that dude's arm, which I would actually wake up before him. And I'm like, the first thing I do is basically take one of his arms and be like, that's a nice arm you have. Mind if I break it? And I basically just snap his entire arm. Sasuke would pull up being like, actually, I'll take the other one. And he's like, ah, my arms. And that basically, all the fights would go in canon, because I'm going to say they're going to basically break up as a different kind of thing. But basically, everyone makes it from in canon, and my team will as well. Because in this version, I'm going to say they beat someone or whatever. Like 2 other people arrived or whatever for something or another. That's the only reason we win. And I'm going to say it was mainly the luck of the draw. Now, we do have to deal with the one thing that's kind of a big deal. We have to deal with that whole fight between the fights. They go basically as in canon, but whenever like the first one happened with like the first big fight really happened, Neji versus Naruto, that goes so differently. Because it's me versus Neji, and I know Neji's fighting style, and I'm just gonna be like, 1,000 shadow clones. As shadow clones are all around him, he's gonna be like, that's a ton of shadow clones, why? I'm like, let's jump him. And 1 stays behind. And he wasn't expecting this, because why would 1 stay behind that yelled, let's jump him? And he thinks that's the one that's actually doing it. So he knocks all the other ones backwards, and strikes that one just for it to poof, and me to get him right in the jaw. To that same uppercut, which actually was more of an uppercut than what Naruto did, and actually, I take that big old sword of mine, I turn it to blunt ways, and just straight up smack him over the side of the head with it, as he's laying on the ground, unconscious, completely. Everyone just picks it up like, holy crap, that was impressive. Now, remember, we still have to deal with the whole thing with, you know, what happened whenever Sasuke was about to fight Gaara, and that whole thing when Gaara leaves and all that. In this version, we track him with the same people, with the addition of Haku and Sai, who, I'm gonna say the final match is the match before that, instead of it being what it was, it's the one that was the one before that. So yeah, that match would be actually between Haku and Sai, who, sadly to say, Sai got whooped. Haku with a giant sword clashes with Sai's sword and actually and they actually are able to fight for a good bit, but in the end, Haku barely wins. So, yeah. But being on the same team, they're actually not that surprised of how broken everyone is. Now, this would change a few things. 1, no one here has the brokenness needed for the true power of fight. Now, I'm just kidding about that, but whatever. They're all basically doing their training thing, and all that happens as normally. You know, what do you expect? We actually go to get Sasuke, and all that goes kind of whenever when Gaara went into his one-tailed cloak form, and I'm like, wait, you can fuse with the Chubi inside you? With one of the tailed beasts? Yeah. And I'm like, no way, man. And I just go into my 3-tailed form, and I'm like, this is mine. I have the 9 tails. And he's like, wait, what? And the beast is like, and the 1-tails is like, hey, you messed up, Gaara. This guy's the 9 tails. Which means he has access to his power. And apparently if he can go into 3-tailed cloak so easily, I'm wagering to bet he can go into 4-tailed cloak pretty easily too. Can you? Yep. And I would actually go up into 5-tailed, be like, hey. So I'm giving it free. So this is basically its payment to me for rent. I get its power when I need it. You're in the 5-tailed cloak and you're talking. Yeah, let's run these ones. Oh, this is bull. As he goes with his half-Shukaku form, just gets slapped around by Naruto, well, with me going all out on him. Yeah! Now this will leave a few injuries. Nothing that's going to be bad. Now, here's where the whole training, I think, would happen for something. I don't know, whatever. Basically, I'm skipping everything else that would happen in Naruto since I think it's boring. Oh, and if you're wondering, yes, I did remember that, the third Hokage still dies. But I didn't think that to be a big deal, as it always happens. They still find, Tsunade, try getting her to be the fifth Hokage. But instead of her being the fifth Hokage, she's like, nah. This version of Naruto would still challenge her. Now, this time, whenever she gets challenged, it is a whole different fight. Now, I know the Rasengan, just a little bit of it. But I still know how to use it, so I basically go Rasengan. And I step up with 1,000 Shadow Clones, all using Rasengan. As we step up, being like, really? That's all you're using? I take my giant sword out and be like, no. And we basically just all run it with her, and she basically breaks all Shadow Clone except for one. And that last Shadow Clone is very injured afterwards. And really, I'm the last one standing, and I actually am able to hit her with the broadside of the sword, which she was able to block for me to hit a Rasengan to the stomach, which dropped her down to a knee. Her saying that I won, and me saying, remember, if you become the Hokage, you get access to all of the Leaf's funds. You can gamble as much as you wish, and just know, you'll always be able to train. Why would training help me? Well, I mean, why not? Is there anything against training? Also, free alcohol. Think about it. And her being like, you know what? I'll take you up on that deal. I'll become that next Hokage. Good. Now, just know, I'm going to try to become Hokage as well. Which means you, after you and, I don't know, whoever else tries to go that for, whatever, I'm going to try to become Hokage. Got it? Got it. Good. Now, I'm actually talking to Jiraiya, and I say, you know what, Jiraiya? Why don't you join in me with my training? Alright. Because I would still figure out Naruto's own signature jutsu, which wouldn't be a big deal. Now, I actually say, alright, can I learn her toad summoning? And he's like, sure. Teaching me toad summoning and all that goes basically what goes down pretty good. I'm like, alright, now I heard you can actually use another form. Is that true? Yeah, I've got this one pretty good one. Why? Let me see your sage mode. How did you even know what it was called? Nature energy, yada yada yada. I want to know. Alright. As I basically explained to Jiraiya, I'm actually from another world. And I know all events that'll happen in Naruto. Wait, does that mean you knew the third Hokage was gonna die? Yes, but I had no way to stop it. You know I actively tried? What? Yeah, Orochimaru was a lot harder to beat than you would expect. Who would expect a guy who literally acts and looks like a snake to be that hard to kick the shite out of? Yep, pretty factual. But he's one of the 3 Lightning Soning, so what do you expect? I didn't expect that. I had to go all the way into a 4-tailed cloak to try to keep up with him. Wait, what? You can already go into that? Yeah. Dude, that's stronger than Sage Mode. I don't care, I want Sage Mode too. Alright, whatever. As I do the whole training with nature energy, which is basically meditation and everything, so that won't be that hard. And this version, the Sage Power, which I'm going to leave, I can only leave 2. Originally, Naruto only left 2 of them there. And I'm going to say with my mastery of it, I'm going to leave 4. And they're going to be training, doing the whole same meditation. And this will allow me to be able to pull them out in the fight against Pain quite easily. Now, if you're wondering why I swapped so much time up, because I don't know what else happened at that time. And I'm sorry, guys. But after Pain, the whole Great Ninja War and all that would happen still, yada yada yada. I don't know what to do about that one. Now, Sasuke would actually be able to still kill Itachi the same way, but in this version, after he took Itachi's eyes, and I basically will find him during the Great Ninja War. Now, this will lead to a whole other different encounter. After beating one of the, Kage level threat, it's not a big crazy deal, but still not a low one, so we have to acknowledge that. I start training, and I actually, right before any of this, I still convinced Tsunade to actually train Sakura. And she's like, sure, I don't mind. And I'm like, good. Sakura, you're going to need to train, become at least twice as strong as Tsunade was in her prime. Naruto, I'm tired of you calling me useless. And you know that's a really powerful thing, right? And I said, yeah, and you're going to be able to, and then you should be able to keep up with people who are on the level of, oh, what was that again? 9 tails? Alright, fair point. 5 Kage-sama will go as normal. But in this version, whenever I pop up out of nowhere with the rest of the beast, you know, people who have the beast in them, I actually teach them all, you know what? Talk to y'all about, you know, if they're in your body, you should be able to get some of their powers rent. Fair point. Anyway, whatever. We're going to go past that. We're going to go straight to the end of the Great Ninja War, where they're fighting Madara and all that happens. In this version, fighting Madara goes basically eye-to-eye cannon with more big weapons. That's the only difference. And at one point I have an idea, and I basically use like 20 shadow clones, all flying Raijin right behind him, and he basically cuts them all down just to get punched in the side of his ribs by a Rasengan infused. By a Rasengan, and basically a punch to the ribs by another shadow clone who just punched him, and he felt that pain, and he said, who the crap? As he takes on that shadow clone just to get Rasengan to the other side of the ribs. Now, this still doesn't do anything until, you know, Kage happens, and they basically taking on Kage goes the same thing as a cannon. By the way, if you're wondering why I didn't include the death of Jiraiya, because he didn't die in this version. Literally, the training with Naruto, he actually becomes stronger and mastered Sage Mode. Being so much stronger, he's actually able to take on pain, but he still has to retreat because he still got his ass beat. He didn't win the fight, but he was able to survive. He had to vanish. He was able to reverse summon himself all the way back to the other side, but also warn everyone, so yeah. This made it where getting the whole thing to everyone was so much easier. Now, we do have to acknowledge at this point, at the end of the war and all that happens, and everything gets broken and all that, and Boruto will happen the same way. Because Sas says, I would wind up getting with Hinata, Boruto would still happen. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna train him to be OP. Now, I really don't know what happens much in Boruto since I really do not care for it, and I fall asleep during it, so. First thing is, Boruto gonna be broken as crap. I'm gonna say I train him from birth to death to be beaten every ass. I'll teach him Toad Summoning, Sage Mode. And if he says, you know what, I want to be more like Sasuke, I'll be like, hey yo, Sasuke, my boy. And Sasuke would probably pull up to the like, what's good? Alright, I need you to teach my son training. Also, I want you to learn Sage Mode. Why would I learn Sage Mode? Think about how broken it would be if you could use your giant form, you know, your whatever it was, I forgot the name. If you could do that and you could miss someone with a swing and you would still hit them. That would be broken. Very broken. Yes. And you could actually keep up with me in my giant form when I'm using Sage Mode as well, where I can miss someone and still clock the mouth out of them. True. You know what? Deal. And he actually learns Snake Sage Mode. Because, you know, he will still learn more from, you know, the snake dude. Orochimaru. So, yeah. And he says, and I actually would talk to Hinata, what is the name? Sakura, about her learning, you know, Sage Mode with the slugs. And I'm actually going to talk to both Sai in this version, which, being my personality, I would let it happen. I'd be like, Sai and Haku, I want you two, as they're both full grown at this point, being like, what's up? I want you two to learn Sage Mode. What? Yeah. It'll take a lot of training, and you'll need to be gone for like 2 weeks. What? You're acting like that's not a big deal. Sage Mode is like a monstrous power. True, but I'm also giving you teaching, and I'm teaching you the toad. And would you like to learn to summon anything? And he's like, I got my drawings. How about this? I'll teach y'all a little bit of toad summoning so y'all can get there and get back. Deal? Deal. Good. Here. Teaching them just a little bit of toad summoning, and they wind up learning Sage Mode along with Boruto. And if you're wondering about Himawari, that little girl becomes an absolute unit of power and devastation. Now, she winds up actually getting Sage Mode the same way as, the same way. But that Boruto thing with Borishiki, taking the eye of Sasuke. In this version, Sasuke knows Sage Mode, and he stays on Sage Mode like 24/7, mastered. And Jiraiya even pulls up on most people. And in perfect Sage Mode, he's hard to fight. Like, he can even take on Naruto at some points, unless Naruto's using his Nine-Tailed and perfect Sage Mode. Because once Nine-Tailed pops out, it's kind of a pain for Jiraiya to fight. Now, note, I'm going to say Killer B would actually learn octopus summoning. So he can summon giant octopus that are on land. Now, if you're wondering why I say that, because he's basically known as the Octopops. So I figured, yeah, it's either that or spider summoning. I'm going to say he learns both, just for the usage of it. And he would learn Sage Mode as well. And for this little dude, yeah, Gaara is going to learn Sage Mode as well. But just for the fun of it. And yeah, this is What If. That's all I know to do it. Bye, guys.